welcome back to my channel. As per usual, my name is Marmy Newton and I will be talking about the most recent piece of media I watched. And today I'm talking about the movie It Ends With Us. I know that I mentioned in my last video that I would be talking about this, so if you saw my video about what I thought of Emily in Paris season 4 part 1, then, or if you watch the video up till the end, then you know that I was already going to talk about this on my channel. Anyway, I also know that the movie has kind of been shrouded in a lot of controversy, but this video is not about that. This video is an honest review of the movie as someone who read the book when it came out. So without further ado, let's get into it. First, I want to talk about Colleen Hoover herself. I don't know if anyone who has seen the film realized that she's in it, or if anyone is familiar with what the author, like Colleen Hoover, looks like, the author of the book, looks like. But she is in the movie. If you've already seen it, she's in the scene with whatever is happening in every scene in that film is just kind of confusing because I don't know. Anyway, I think she's in Alyssa's birthday party. If you watch very closely, the camera quickly pans over Colleen Hoover the minute the Lily walks into the party. So that's a little fun thing that I noticed about the film. I thought it was kind of fun, just plug her in there for the people who kind of know a little bit about the movie going into it. So yeah. And then I wanted to talk about the main three characters, Ryle, Lily, and Atlas. So I felt that, first of all, perfect casting, amazing casting for Lily and for older Lily and younger Lily, amazing. They look, the Blake Lively and the younger actress look like literally identical. It's insane, and their mannerisms are the same. It's amazing, honestly. I did think that in the books, young Lily is like maybe 15 years old, and younger Atlas is maybe 18, or he's just turned 18 or is about to turn 18. And I don't know, but the actors that they cast to play the younger versions of them, even though they did look like the older versions of the characters, I felt like they looked a little too old to be playing younger, like teenagers, because younger Lily is literally a sophomore or a freshman, and that girl did not look like a sophomore or a freshman in high school. And neither did the guy who played Atlas, like younger Atlas. So that was my only critique there. But I thought that the younger actors were definitely great casting on that end. In general, I didn't think the acting in the movie was that great. I thought that older Atlas, the actor who played older older Atlas, definitely did a great job. He's the only one that I thought whose acting I found to be very believable. I liked Justin Baldoni as Ryle Kincaid, but honestly, I don't know. When I read the book, he wasn't really the person I pictured. So I don't know. I thought his performance was okay. Like I know a lot of people online have definitely loved it and they thought that he played the character very well, but to me it was all the same. All of the other actors, I felt like older Atlas was the one whose performance I liked the most, but I'm also not an expert on acting or anything, so what do I know? And then I know a lot of people have also been talking about the fashion in the movie, especially on TikTok. I saw a lot of edits and a lot of concerns about Blake Lively's character's fashion with Lily in the film. I know it bothered a lot of people, but I didn't think the fashion was amazing or great or anything, but I think a lot of people were like, oh, online before I saw the movie, I'd seen that a lot of people were saying that the fashion is very distracting. Lily's clothes are just kind of all over the place. And I do think, yes, they are all over the place, but I didn't think it was distracting or anything of sorts. So I don't know what that says about my fashion sense, but that's what I thought of that. So, yeah. I also wanted to talk about the timelines. So, when I read the books, I definitely thought that I felt like the book was split into two, or like not into halves per se, but definitely two different stories being told at the same time. Where there's the timeline with younger Lily and younger Atlas, and then there's a timeline with the current timeline, I guess. And in the movie, in the books, because it's told within two different timelines with the Ellen letters and all of that, it feels like the older, like the past, yeah, the younger people, the past is definitely very well developed. Like we have reasoning for, why Lily definitely feels the way she feels towards Atlas, why Lily also feels like Atlas saved her, because she was definitely not doing very well around the time she met Atlas as well, and how Atlas also feels like Lily saved him. They did put snippets, lines about that getting to the end of the film, but I just wish that they had told the story, the story within the past, as if it was a different timeline. I don't know how to explain it, but in the movie it feels more so like little memories, like chunks that come and go, tiny little flashbacks, and I feel like that part of the story wasn't very well developed or flushed out, and because of that it also affected a lot about how like the outcome of Ryle and Lily's relationship is, because it feels in the current timeline in the film, it felt as if Ryle was overreacting to Atlas because he's technically just an ex. It doesn't like in the books, Ryle ends up finding all of these letters that Lily had sent to Ellen, and that's how he understands like the tattoo and all of that. And it feels, without having any of those letters in the film, it definitely feels as if it feels very anticlimactic, and it also feels like Ryle is overreacting when the film isn't necessarily the impression that I got from the book was that the story isn't necessarily to villainize Ryle. More so is it about more so like it's more so about the Ryle being a kind person on his good days, and then him being able to then change and be this bad person, and Lily's inability to obviously love both of them because the other half of him is definitely someone that's hurting her. And without the depth of the past, the stories told in the past, it just feels like Ryle is overreacting for the sake of overreacting. And so I think that the movie failed to romanticize Ryle the way that the book did, to then be able to kind of rip the band-aid and I don't know, kind of move forward from there. Because when I was watching the film, also when I was watching it, I felt like, I know that they had cut out the actual abuse scenes to make it seem, or I kind of read somewhere, I'm not sure if this is real, but they had cut out the actual abuse scenes, or they had edited them in a way that made it seem like Lily's memories were untrustworthy. I think at the very beginning of the film too, Lily says it, older Lily says it, that she's an untrustworthy narrator. And I think that they had done that for artistic reasons, or to make it look, I don't know what kind of reasons they had, but I felt like it took away from the story, because I do understand why they would try to portray that portray it as if, you know, domestic violence victims be able to always have to prove or kind of go, are just never believed instantaneously, or are not seen as the victim enough. But I felt like if they had just told the story chronologically as is in the book, it would have been more powerful, because then we would be able to just experience the story in real time and be able to form our own opinions as it's going on. Because it's not necessarily, the story isn't necessarily about did it happen, did it not happen. It's more so about the fact that she loves this person so much and she doesn't understand how he could be such a good person to her on his good days and then such a terrible person on his bad days. And the message fails to resonate if we're only getting snippets of his bad days, and it doesn't feel very cohesive. And then like way later at the end of the film, they then kind of do a quick montage of Ryle's memories or kind of what actually happened. And I think it just takes away from the story and the power that it could have held, instead of allowing it to resonate with audiences in real time. I also feel like a lot out of the book was cut. Definitely all the letters to Ellen, I think I already talked about this, was cut. Like, you see just a tiny shot of it at the very start of the film. And then you also see a poster of Finding Nemo on her wall, young Lily's wall. But apart from that, it doesn't really get mentioned that much. And then, and then the scene where Ryle knocks on a bunch of doors to be able to find Lily's apartment, that is also cut from the film. But I guess it's technically kind of inconsequential anyway, like that scene. But I felt like definitely with the letters and all of that, like I said, it goes back to the past being told as snippets or little memories rather than it being told as an actual story. But I also understand that they were probably trying their best not to go over a certain runtime for the film, because at the end of the day, if you're trying to make maybe a 3-hour movie or something, then it's, you know, then it's kind of, you're just taking up too much time. So I see why they cut it into memories, but I think that there's a way that they could have told both timelines and still stayed within the time frame that they wanted to keep the movie under. And then also the books, when I read the book, I felt like I got the sense that obviously, like as the title goes, it ends with us. It's about breaking the cycle of abuse. But then if the mother's cycle of abuse isn't really communicated enough to the audience, and Lily's cycle of abuse is being cut up into chunks for artistic reasons, and then suddenly, and then Lily's pregnancy and Ryle kind of trying to gain her forgiveness and trying to do everything to be a better person during that entire time that Lily is pregnant is also cut up into little chunks, then all three of that falls flat. And in the general sense, the story itself isn't well communicated to the audience, because then someone who hasn't read the book or doesn't know anything about the source material goes into the film, and they're just kind of, again, they don't really feel anything watching the film, because it feels like, oh, I guess the mom's experience of domestic violence gets mentioned at some point, and then Lily's is just looks like gaslighting, and then the baby arrives, and then it's not really, I don't think that, I don't know, I didn't think that that was the best way to I think that they could have maybe started with a little scene of the mom experiencing abuse and Lily seeing that, and then kind of cut that away and then headed to the funeral. I know that they were trying to build the story in a way where they tell the first half essentially kind of like a rom-com, and then the second half as is, which is exactly kind of how the book communicates itself. But the thing is, book to film, books and films are two completely different mediums, right? Because where an author can just tell you something in one line in a book, a film can't really do that, because you either need to literally see it on screen or someone needs to verbalize that. And And so they needed to find a way to, again, tell both the past timeline, the present day timeline, the best way, and be able to communicate the mother's experience of domestic violence, Lily's experiences, and then try to then tie it to why Emerson can't experience that. And they didn't really do a very good job of doing that. Which then brings me to my final point, which is, while watching this film, I could not tell who the film was for. I wasn't sure if this was for fans of the book getting to see it adapted on screen, or if it was for newer audiences, because if it was for newer audiences, then that was a very confusing film for anyone who hasn't already read the books. Because like I've been saying, I feel like I'm just repeating myself at this point. The story isn't told in a sensible enough way where someone who hasn't had any experience, hasn't been exposed to the story at all would be able to watch it, understand it for what it is, and resonate with the story. The movie didn't really do a good job of that if the audience was supposed to be brand new people. And then if the movie was supposed to then reaffirm the beliefs of people who have already read the book or kind of get them excited, it also didn't do that, because a good chunk of some of the important things in the book was missing in the film. So I don't know. All in all, that's all I have to say. This video is getting a little too long. And yeah, overall, I thought the movie was so-so, which is really sad because I usually enjoy most of the things I watch, but I thought the movie was so-so. It could have definitely been done in a better way. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. Feel free to like and subscribe to my channel. I will be putting the subscribe button somewhere.
Subscribe to my channel.
Feel free to like and subscribe, and on that note, I will see you during my next video. Thank you very much for tuning in, and enjoy the rest of your day, or watch more of my videos, please, to support a small growing YouTube channel. Thank you. Bye.